town, I would look at everything that would come out, okay, for every park district, whether it was Hillside Lake or Hillside Lake Lighting District, okay, and if you're assuming or you're kind of stating, well, where did that money go? All right, the money went to maintain at a very minimal level, okay, and these were volunteers who did that, and they never went out and spent money that wasn't needed for, I don't know, a hose or a valve. That's the kind of money that was being spent. Other monies were being spent in investigating, okay? What are we going to do about it, okay? We had to have studies done. We had to have borings done. We had to find out exactly what we were dealing with. You're welcome to find them out, but if in the back of your head you're saying our money was used in a different manner and where is the money, you will find out that money went exactly right into whatever was needed.
And that's all I'm looking for.
Okay, great. And that's
all I have. I'm sure there's plenty of other questions. Thank you.
My name is Rick Fisher, and while it's good to reminisce, we need to deal with the here and now. And in order to do that, we need to know what kind of baseline we're working from. At the last meeting, I asked you, Ms. Hickman, about Emmeline Pond.
Yes.
Now, according to the Dutchess County land records, and that's what Judge Woods indicates, is that the town is the owner of the lake property.
Hillside Lake?
Yes, just the same as it is with Emmeline Pond.
Yes, Emmeline Pond was turned over as a part.
At the last meeting, you may recall, I asked you the question of what the circumstances were involving Emmeline Lake and the dredging of that lake by the town.
Yeah, and I emailed them to Michael Waller. I thought that was taken care of. I didn't realize you didn't.
Well, maybe you could explain that to these people. These people should know that we are being forced to take up an action that really started in the late 80s when it was true that nobody cared to pay the dues because it was not a legal organization. My deed, when I bought my house in 1976, didn't have any information on my deed saying that there was any kind of activity involving any kind of park district. So my understanding was that was just an informal boundary line that delineated the area around the lake and all the properties. Emmeline Pond is relatively small. It's very beautiful right now if you drive by it. There are 19 properties around that lake that touch the lake. I can't say how many we have in Hillside Lake, but the town dredged that lake. I don't believe they had a homeowners association that I'm aware of, or any kind of park districts, or any other kind of anything.
Excuse me, Rick. I just want to let you know that I know that a lot of money was put in by a developer doing project there, and part of his project was, part of his approval was that he had to do a betterment of conservation area of the town, and he was very close to that, and that's where a lot of the funds
came from. With all due respect, I'd like to see something on paper to that effect. Because Emmeline Pond was there a long time. I can't recall any development that took place in that area.
No, well, what happens is that, you know, you got not big things, apples and oranges, but with Emmeline Pond, it's my understanding, it was a development on Saddle Ridge Road, many lots, and that was the time when environmental impact studies started. Now, whenever anyone wants to develop property, it's analyzed. And what happens sometimes if there's going to be an environmental impact into the wetlands or something on a developer's property, they have to do a betterment off-site or elsewhere to assist in the drainage or the water flow. It's my understanding this is where the funds came from, and the identified site is Emmeline Pond. So we'll get you that information.
That would be very helpful, you know, because Hillside Lake obviously has been developed over the years as well.
But Hillside Lake was developed when it was, okay, I'm sorry.
Excuse me. When I bought my house, they started developing Chase Hills immediately thereafter.
What? I'm sorry.
Chase Hills?
Chase Hills. Our name.
Right, but what happened is that Hillside Lake was developed before zoning, before any regulations existed.
Exactly.
It was developed as what they now would call a planned unit development. In other words, the original developer laid out the property, divided it into lots the way they chose to do it, they made the lake, they created the lake as the center of that property.
Right.
So every house within that area was originally encumbered by a note in their deed saying that they're part of this association that owns these parks. Everyone else in the town was excluded and is excluded from the use of that facility.
I never saw that in my deed when I bought my house.
But it's in the chain of time. I can remember 28, 29 years ago, I was asked by a resident there to come to a homeowner association meeting to talk about and look at the issue they were having, because they were not being able to enforce the collection of the homeowner association dues. And most of the people said the same thing you said, sir. It's not my deed, but if you do a title search on your property, it will show up in one of the original deeds.
Well, with all due respect, I did do a title search,
Okay.
and there was nothing
So
there.
then maybe you're not part of the original area.
Well, then I'm not part of Hillside Lake. These types of things should be made extremely clear to the people in this room. There are things that are going on that we don't know anything about historically that, in my mind, set a precedent that we should follow.
Well, at the time when Park District was formed, the town would have held a public hearing.
Understood.
And notify everybody who had property within the proposed boundary.
Understood.
So
The
those
Park
were...
District was created out of a need, but it was never made clear what the powers that body would have or what the town's responsibility would be. And the only thing that we do know, based on some news reports that I saved from the 80s about this whole issue, is that the Park District concept first came up in the late 80s. And it wasn't until 91, it took over 5 to 6 years to get that part done, which presumably would have led to everything else. Nothing was done for all those years. So in effect, if we were to follow any of these plans, we'd literally be paying twice as much as we could have paid 20 years ago when this all started.
Oh, there's no doubt.
That's another penalty that we're being forced to
Oh, wait, nobody's forcing you. I mean, it's a choice. If nobody wants to move forward with it, then that's fine. But I did check the property card, and the original property card for Hillside Lake always said property owners association.
But once again, that doesn't strike me as a legal organization or a governmental body. It is an informal group of people that their primary goal is to have a quality of life, kids in the lake, parties, dances.
Yeah.
It wasn't to force people to do the right thing and rebuild their own septic systems or to stop drinking polluted water from the lake, which is what they're doing, in fact. And nothing has been done to address any of those issues, which in my mind should take precedence over doing anything to clean the lake, because if we don't help clean the source, it's not going to get fixed.
Okay, Rick, as far as water and the other issues, you know, at the first meeting, I got a lot of heat from people saying you haven't done, you haven't protected us and this and that. I did point out that water and sewer, septics really comes under the Board of Health. And the gentleman in the audience said that, with all due respect, I don't have to be the only one to call the Board of Health. Anybody who sees a problem can certainly call the Board of Health. So I waited for a week after that meeting, and I called the Board of Health, and I got the officer on the phone who would be in charge of that sort of thing. I said, I bet you had a lot of calls from Hillside Lake this past week, and she said, no, you haven't had any calls from Hillside Lake. So, I mean, if there is an issue with drinking water, with a septic, you really need to contact the Board of Health, and they will come in, and that is their scope of authority.
At the first meeting, you were the one that said it would be good if 400 people called the Board of Health to get them to do something. In my opinion,
No, somebody else said that other people could call.
You said it would be, off the record, you did say if 400 people from Hillside Lake all call the Board of Health, they may do something. My opinion is, as we have you for, one phone call might get them to do something.
And I called the Board of Health.
Let me just finish my thought.
Absolutely.
My feeling is a homeowner who lives on the lake that knows he has a failed septic system or has dirty water is not going to voluntarily call the health department and say, maybe you should be doing something about the lake.
Right.
So
would like me to call the health department and say, okay, there's 300 houses in Hillside Lake, they all have bio, I mean, you need specific
The
instances.
septic issue and the well issue are fundamental parts of this problem.
But you just don't go to the Board of Health and say, we have septic problems in Hillside Lake, they'll say, whereabouts? You have to give them a street, a number, and I know you assume that everybody's got a septic problem in Hillside Lake. I've contacted the Board of Health, and she said, if anybody comes forward and tells us there's a septic problem, septic leaching, water problem, we will come right out. And that's what needs to be done.
My name is Keith Damaso, I'm a resident of 30 years in Hillside Lake. First, following up on the issue that the town attorney referred to some 28 years ago. I'm not certain if it's the same instance, but back then I recall receiving a letter in the mail, something along the lines of that in an attorney's opinion, every homeowner should be paying their fair share. Now, that's an opinion, and I can assure you that if there was any authority that could have been executed to make any homeowner do it, that's the way it would have been worded. Is that not true? Well, moving forward, as far as Emmeline Pond, it's on the tax rolls, it's categorized the same as Hillside Lake. It's a park, municipal park, no different than at least 12 others, plus owned by town of East Fishkill. Who maintains those properties?
Town maintains some more, the town has some.
Then why would the town not maintain its own lake?
I'm sorry, the other one is the other special park district I think we have in the town is local park district.
But it's on the tax rolls as 963 municipal.
Oh, no, it's on the tax roll. If you look at the tax roll, it says same thing, town of East Fishkill. If you go into it, special park district is a special park district. I mean, some we have for public use and some are for special.
Okay, but there is absolutely nothing posted or anything otherwise that states that it's private property for Hillside Lake property owners only. And furthermore, in the deed, I have a copy of the deed from 1992. And those three properties inside Hillside Lake belong to the town of East Fishkill. Why would you have the residents of Hillside Lake maintain your property?
They're in the name of the town of East Fishkill, okay? But they're
You bought it for $10.
owned by the residents of Hillside Lake.
I have the deed right here. You bought it for $10.
Tom, you want to talk a little bit about special park district law?
Any property, if you look on the tax rolls of the town and you look at the Sagamore Sewer District plan, it says the owner, town of East Fishkill. Everybody doesn't pay for the sewer plant, only the people in the Sagamore Sewer District. If you look at Beekman, not Beekman, but Hopewell Hamlet Sewer District property across from the town hall, 5 acres, it's owned by the town of East Fishkill, but only those in the sewer district pay for it. New York state law says that upon creation of a district, the title to the properties held by the town are